Dari, hello, and it's the end of March 2021, and this is my review of the Petzl IKO Core. So, the preface to this conversation is that I'm going to make a quick apology and explanation to my neighbours and animals in our local forest, which I've been, wouldn't say terrorising, but certainly inconveniencing possibly for the last few days as I've run around testing the aforementioned Petzl IKO Core. I checked my records and it's been over 5 years since I bought a running or trail head torch. So my two current primary race and backup head torches are getting a bit long in the tooth, shall we say. And so it was time for something new. I looked around and Petzl have this apparently wonderful IKO Core. Why is it wonderful? Well, the main selling point for race people is its weight. It's an 80 gram, including batteries, head torch. Now that is just astonishing. As a weight comparison, you'll probably be aware that the Petzl Now torch is about 200 grams, so more than double the weight. I have a Petzl IKO RXP that's no longer sold, but that's about 120 grams. So to have what's claimed to be a full featured trail running light at 80 grams, well, let's see how it measures up. Okay, so it's an extremely lightweight construction light. So it's not for clumsy people, because clumsy people are going to break this light in a week or less. In particular, this plastic construction has a hinge here, which is quite delicate. And I can imagine if you were to put that in a rucksack for a long trail race, or if you were to sit on it, you'd probably break it straight away. So it's a fragile light, but that's what you're going to have to put up with for an 80 gram Wonder Light. It's got three lighting modes, and they're very simple. It's bugger all, moderate, and blinding. So on the blinding light level, it's 500 lumens. So you press it again, it switches off. And then, by the way, there's a light there to indicate the fact that the battery is nearly dead. It's green when it's fully charged. So these three light levels are good enough to perhaps, I don't know, read a box of matches in the dark. The second level, which has a 9-hour life, is 100 or so lumens, and that's enough for an uncomplicated trail. So imagine you're in a race or you're with a group of friendly runners and you're all running together. That would be an ideal setting, and on that setting you're going to get 9 hours. And on the last setting, you're going to get, that's the 500 lumen setting, you're going to get 2.5 hours, which is still pretty decent. It's decent because, again, this is an extremely lightweight product, and we're now going to take a little look at the battery. By the way, this is a very reflective on the back here, so there's no actual light at the back, but if any light shines on this patch here, it's going to reflect like hell. Some races obviously do need a rear red lamp, in which case you could probably, I haven't tested it, but you could probably attach something to this cord flex here. The way this cord works is as you pull it, as you can see, it's making the circumference smaller, and then you just let it out here. Obviously, if this spring was to go through use, it would render your lamp a little bit useless. You'd probably have to tie it there, and then you wouldn't have that flexibility. But right now it's new and it works fine. Okay, so let's look at the battery. So the story about batteries is that Petzl, so what I do is, by the way, is not only do you need to replace this battery, let's say in the middle of a race, if it's longer than 2.5 hours, you need some method of doing this whereby you can do it in the dark. Let's say you're running on your own and your lamp's just failed, so you've got no lights anymore. So I've got this way of doing it, which is to put this lamp according to my chest. Then I know I can hold the lamp like this, and then I can fiddle around and pull it up like that. And I also know then that the plus is in the top left-hand corner. So there's a slight rib here, So the idea is you can pull it out quite easily, and there's the battery. So it's a Petzl Core battery. I think they're about £20 each, which is good news. And why is that good news? Because the Petzl now's got a battery, and it comes in a battery compartment. And if you buy that battery, it's about £60, which I think is a bit of an annoyingly high price. So at £20, this is not a bad price to pay. These are extremely small and light. And I would guess that if you were in a race where you wanted the maximum convenience, you'd have some of these pre-charged. And if you have a halfway point where you can exchange batteries, you can then swap your dead batteries for the new batteries. But there's more. So the more is that apparently, and it works-ish, you can put dry cells in here. So you can put 3 AAA dry cells in here. So instead of carrying more of these, you can wear it with dry cells. I mean, it's okay, but I would still recommend you carry more of these rather than more dry cells. But it is convenience that it can take dry cells. And unlike some of the other Petzl lamps, which require a separate housing or don't hold the dry cells very well at all, this is, it's okay. So dry cells, okay. Rechargeable is the way to go. When you hold it against this way, you'd be putting the plus there, and then you can clamp it shut, and that goes on. And needless to say, it's a waterproof design. So that's it really. It's only about £60 or £70 in the UK from your local retailer, which is a pretty damn good price really. And again, the selling point for this lamp is 80 grams. So I've currently got 2 lamps, and I was thinking, I would ditch the least good lamp and replace it with this lamp. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to go up to a 3 lamp total. So in our family, there'll be, for myself and my partner, we'll have 5 lamps total. And this will be kind of the backup lamp, I think, for a long race, and the primary lamp for a short race. So in a long race, what you want in a backup lamp is the lightest possible lamp you can get away with, because really it's a backup and you're never going to need it. So this is ideal for that, and it is a damn decent light as well. So you could take less primary batteries, and you could take this as your sort of last stage lamp. And being 80 grams, when this fits on your head, you just cannot feel it at all. I think I've said in a previous video that anything over 100 grams on the front of your head, you start to feel. And that's where the Petzl now, which is a 200 gram lamp, has got a battery at the back and a light at the front. This is weighing in at, something less than 50 grams on the front and back. So it's just incredibly light. But don't forget, everyone, it's very, I would say, fragile, and you've got to bear that in mind. There's one last thing to note, is that there's supposed to be a way of connecting this lamp in here, like this, and then you can fold this down like this and this. But to be honest, that never really works. So when you're carrying this in a pack, it's going to be out like this, so bear that in mind. But it does fold nice and flat like that. So there you go. So that's the Petzl IKO Core, and yes, it's recommended. Thanks for watching.